Hey everybody, Astrologer Dawn here. Check out my website, astrologerdawn.com. Today is July the 4th, 2020. I'm coming to you from Chandler, Arizona. Okay, so here is today's chart. Not that many of you will be able to read it, but if you can, well, good for you. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today is Mars, because Mars has just moved into its ruling sign. So Mars is the planet of where our energy goes. It's the god of war. Mars is action and energy and fight and vim and vigor, that kind of stuff as well. So right now, and until January the 7th, 2021, Mars is going to be in its ruling sign of Aries. Now, it is going to go retrograde during this period and then go back again, but right now it's direct. It's just gone into it. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is about me, myself, and I. What do I need? What do I want? It's also about the body. So, given where we are at, and I can only talk about America, I don't know what's going on. Well, I do, I guess there's things going on in other countries. But given that many of us are trying to take care of ourselves in a more healthy way, in America, this is a good time to be looking at what can you do at home, what can you do in your local neighborhood, whether it's walking, running, or lifting. Maybe you need to do that in your house or your apartment, but you need to burn off the energy because otherwise it's going to come out in other ways. And we've already seen this, even though Mars was recently in Pisces. And that is when some massive change started to happen in this country, because things that were under or not talked about as much, not brought to the surface, were brought to the surface with the pandemic and with the marches and the protesting. So we're in an interesting time because now we're in a warlike place, and this is going to affect all of us, depending upon where Mars is going through your own chart will determine how you handle this. What we can do generally when Mars is in Aries, it's a great time to start a new exercise plan. It's a great time to start looking at how you're eating. Is it time to go vegetarian or even vegan? Don't know. You're going to be exposed to some more new opportunities during this time. Don't be surprised if in the next 6 months you start a business, even though you were never planning on it. Um, Mars in Aries, watch out for arguments. Is this the hill I want to die on? Needs to be a mantra. So if somebody wants to argue with you about something, how important is it really? For those of us in the United States, um, I had this flash the other day that we are in adrenal fatigue. And adrenal fatigue leads to adrenal failure at some point. But right now we're in adrenal fatigue. So turn off your television. What's going on out there is still going to be going on. Turn on some meditation. Learn something. If you want to go onto the computer, get off of YouTube and looking at the news. It's time to learn something. What do you want to know that's new? Have you always wanted to learn tarot cards? Go online, find out how to do that. Want to start astrology? Something metaphysical? Time to start learning, because we are in adrenal fatigue. Our adrenal glands rule our energy. And even those of us in human design that have root energy, which normally means we would have consistent access to those adrenal glands. Oh, for those of you who have no root energy, how are you handling this? You must be all over the place. But even for those of us that have a solid grounding, we can still get that adrenal fatigue from watching something happening in this particular country that actually happened when the American Revolution happened. So, all of this is hitting America much harder, as you know. I've mentioned it before because of the Pluto being in Capricorn at the exact same second and the exact same minute and the same degree that it was in when this country became the United States of America. The other thing about Mars in Aries, and this is sort of shown right here, is that we really actually live in 52 countries. It's not really the United States, it's 52 little countries. Because if you've probably noticed, if you're from out of this country, you may have noticed that different states decided to do different things in terms of the virus that is here. And for those of you who live in a country where the entire country was in lockdown, or the entire country did the same thing, you're probably wondering why that didn't happen here. Well, that's because we're independent. People are independent. You see, the problem with that is the virus doesn't care. It sees us as 52 little countries, and it will just go from one to another and then back again. So, you know, and it's going the way it was supposed to be because we're in this American Revolution. Excuse me. So it's all part of it. Mars in Aries is going to make you angry. Don't drive if you're angry. If you're angry, don't go out. Find a way to get that energy out in a healthy way. Exercise obviously is very healthy for you. So do what you can. This Mars in Aries, when it goes retrograde, you're going to be able to really look at where your ambition is. Right now, you might find yourself to be very ambitious, and that's good. If you've got a great idea for a business, go for it. If you've got a great idea of something you want to start, this is the time to start gathering all that information. You'll do more work on it when it goes retrograde, and I'll do another video about that. But right now, it's about passion and ambition for something that is important to you. So even though you may be having a little bit of adrenal failure, or adrenal fatigue, I should say, we haven't reached failure yet. We've reached fatigue though. And it doesn't matter what country you're in for that. All of this could have been overwhelming for everybody, everything that's going on in the world right now. Take care of yourself. It's really important that you take care of yourself. Honey, lemon, tea. Beautiful. Sit down, relax, meditate. Because we are in for a bumpy ride until about 2024. At 2022, we will have hit the peak of everything. So there are other things that are coming up. There can also be a war, and that's not specific to America. Maybe it's not the same kind of war because we have so much technology. Could be some kind of more cyber attacks. It could be that kind of thing. But certainly fighting could break out more as well as we go through this year. And like I said, it's in its ruling sign, so it's really powerful. If you want to get something done, get it done. And remember, if you've got your chart, look and see what house it's going through. It's right now, Aries is at 4 degrees. So look at your chart and which house is it in? First house, self, me, myself, and I. Second house, what do you value? And money. Third house, communications. Fourth house, home and family. Fifth house, children and creativity. Sixth house, work, health, and service. Seventh house, relationships. Eighth house, psychological, in depth, sometimes death as well. Ninth house, higher learning. 10th house, your career. 11th house, friendships and also organizations and associations. 12th house is the psychic, but it's also the delusional as well. So that 12th house is for spiritual awareness. So make sure that you don't have any illusions about things that are going on, because it's really easy. And the way to handle that is when somebody makes statements to you that you don't agree with, there's nothing for you to say. You could just say, oh, well, that's interesting. You don't have to be involved with standing up for your own beliefs. Be comfortable with what your beliefs are. Okay? Anyway, I wanted to try out to see whether this would actually work on my computer, and it seems to. Now I just have to figure out where it is so I can send it to you all. Anyway, behave yourselves. If you can't, at least enjoy, and I will see you soon. Check out my website, astrologydawn.com. You know what? My poem that is my favorite. When you come to the end of all the light you know, and it's time to step into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing that one of two things shall happen. Either you'll be given something solid to stand on, or you'll be taught how to fly. Till again, namaste.